Hey everybody, what is up? I am Smitch and this is the Just Face It podcast. This is our weekly podcast here on Facebook, redistributed to all the platforms, where we talk about all things gaming news and Facebook gaming related. And this week our topic is going to focus on kind of where streaming started, as well as the differences between all of the platforms that are kind of out there right now, and the different programs associated with those programs, such as partnerships and affiliates and level up and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And with that, I'll let my hosts kind of introduce themselves. So, you want to go, Jace?
Yeah, so I'm the Mocking Jace TV, and we've got Smitch, who's already talked, and Tater joining us, and the Psychos Crest.
Hello.
And this week we're going to give kind of a quick rundown on the history of streaming and talk a little bit more about some of the key differences between the major platforms. So I guess we'll just jump right in it. So video game streaming has been was popularized roughly 10 years ago. The big main site originally was called Justin TV, and I would assume that pretty much here everybody knows it, even if they didn't originally know it by that name. Justin TV eventually went on to become called Twitch TV. Justin TV was originally founded by Justin Kan and Emmett Schmier, and it was originally just a single website that they created. It was a single channel in which Justin Kan wore a camera and basically broadcasted his life every day, 24/7. Never took it off, whatever he was doing. Eventually, it started opening it more up, and they started making it a little bit more public and adding other channels. So what originally started as one channel and just Justin's life eventually grew to about 60 channels by 2007, and started being added at a rate of 2 channels a day. And that kept going until a couple years later, they noticed a sort of rise on the gaming side of things instead of just the everyday life sort of things. And so they separated its gaming section out into another website that was eventually called twitch.tv. And then a couple years later, in 2014, it just kind of got all put together as twitch.tv instead of justin.tv anymore. Even now, if you go to type in justin.tv in your web browser, it redirects you immediately to Twitch. And then later on in 2014, Twitch had grown so big and become so popular that both tech giants, Amazon and Google, started fighting over who would end up buying it. Amazon eventually won out the battle and bought Twitch, and now own it completely, while Justin Kan and Emmett Schmier are living very comfortable lives now, I'd assume. But yeah, Amazon took it over, and they integrated it with their Amazon Prime service, which is where you get your Twitch Prime from, with all the free subscriptions and the deals they got going on with free games and all that kind of stuff. That was made possible solely because of Amazon. That wouldn't have been conceivable beforehand. Currently, Twitch has 3 million monthly streamers. So they've grown from 2007 when it started to 2019 right now, from one channel to 3 million, which is pretty impressive growth. Right now they've got the the 6th highest amount of traffic for video streaming content. That includes sites like Amazon Prime and Netflix in the mix, any sort of video streaming. And as far as viewership goes, they've got about 45 million unique visitors each month.
So I don't want to
Go ahead.
go too far on a tangent, but has anyone else here seen the movie The Circle? I know Tater has
Yes.
because we actually watched it together.
I have not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the original Justin TV really reminds me of this because the details are a little foggy, but basically the whole premise of the movie is this giant tech company is like connecting everything together, and it's called The Circle because it's like your whole life coming together and connected together and all of that. But the main character starts broadcasting her entire life like 24/7. So like even when she's asleep, it's recording and stuff like that. And it's interesting to me that I think that movie came out in like 2017, but it's like it was almost Justin's reality way back when he did this. Granted, that movie goes on to like, why is this a terrible thing to do, and like all of this stuff because they're basically controlling her life and telling her what to do because she's this figurehead. But I won't go into the details. I just got that vibe from it, and I thought it was interesting.
We don't think that, Facebook overlords.
I don't know. I think
mean-
I'd be uncomfortable wearing a webcam 24/7. That seems a bit excessive.
I mean, honestly, I spend so much time just streaming games anyways. I don't feel like it would be that much different, except for maybe more bathroom breaks.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much what you're seeing anyways, as far as I go. But yeah, it blows my man. I wish I was Justin Kahn right now. Wish I had that idea in 2007. That would be fantastic. Did any of you guys ever watch it when it was Justin TV before Amazon bought them out?
I saw a couple things here and there about it, but not really.
See, I watched Twitch before it was owned by Amazon, but I never went back as far as Justin TV. So I was around on the platform as a viewer, not as a streamer, when all of that transition was going on, and people were like, it's all going to burn down, and then everyone was like, whew, Amazon got it, which I don't know if either one of them would have been a bad option, but people were happy when Amazon won that fight, so
Yeah.
I feel if Google had won, the searchability of streamers would have been a lot better, but that's a different opinion.
Yeah, I had 2 streams on the channel on Twitch before Amazon bought it, and I remember all the other streamers freaking out about who was going to buy it.
Yeah.
I thought if Google was going to get it, it would end up like YouTube and have adpocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like everyone's major concern.
And
there.
demonetization.
Yeah.
I mean, they still
YouTube
have a
does-
lot of ads on Twitch.
Yeah, it's
To be
gotten
fair,
definitely more excessive than it used to be.
Yeah.
I know back before Amazon and all that, it was like just having a sub on a channel would get rid of ads, and that's no longer a thing. And then they did for a while. It was Amazon Prime got you, or Twitch Primes, the analogous to Amazon Prime, got you like ad-free viewing across the site. And now they're just like, nope, you have to buy Twitch Turbo. That's the only way to get rid of the ads.
yeah. Makes me think of Hulu when that first came out.
Mhm.
It was either paid or it was free. And if it was free, you just watched it with ads. And if you paid for it, which was like, I don't know, $5 or $10 a month, then you could watch it without ads. Now there's like 6 tiers to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always confused why I'm paying for Hulu when I still have to watch ads. Like I'm a little confused at the moment. What is happening?
Gets better
Yeah.
when you buy their live TV.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they I don't know. Everything is going to get filled up with ads. That's not.
Yeah,
I think that happens regardless of who owns it.
fun fact
The
though, a quick workaround that we were talking about this morning. If you own an Xbox and you watch Twitch on Xbox, ads do not get pushed out to Xbox for some reason.
oh really?
Or
Yeah,
at least
they're
not
just-
to ours.
Yeah, we don't get ads ever when watching Twitch on our Xbox, and I find that really interesting.
Huh?
That is interesting.
I'll have
I
to
did-
check that out.
Nobody tell Twitch.
I did see a couple of Facebook partners who had ads run before their stream.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, right now they can our partners, they basically decide when and how long they can put their ads in for. But we'll get to that. Yeah, so that's kind of a brief rundown of Twitch. I don't know how different it would have really have been if Google had bought it. I think there'd still be the same amount of ads, and I think it'd pretty much be like YouTube gaming, which is probably Twitch's biggest competitor right now. They launched in 2015 after Google failed to acquire it. And they don't give out a whole lot of their numbers, but we do know that at least the YouTube gaming side has 82 million subscribers total just for gaming channels. Originally, they tried launching their own separate app for gaming side and their own separate website, and then eventually it wasn't pulling as well, so they merged YouTube and YouTube gaming into one. Any of you guys have experience with YouTube?
Yeah, I did a month of YouTube gaming streams. It was interesting, to say the least. There was a lot of guidelines that you had to follow, which doesn't work for a channel like mine. Because as everybody knows, YouTube is really big on swearing, or saying anything that is political or anything at all like that. So for me, I left YouTube gaming because I couldn't abide by most of the rules, and it would have been way too hard for me to get anywhere near what I could do.
So kind of the censorship ended up driving you away from the platform, I guess.
Very, very much so, because my personal channel is an 18+ channel for a reason. But I just that's a big reason why I'm not on YouTube.
Yeah. I know we don't really have any experience with YouTube, but probably because of when we were getting into it, I think was when YouTube was really struggling to get their platform off the ground. And I know a lot of people go there for gaming content, like live gaming content, but I think their main market is still pre-recorded content. And we have toyed around with the idea, and we probably should be doing it, of putting like videos up on YouTube, but as far as getting into the live streaming side of it, we've never really had an interest there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a decent amount of experience with YouTube. I used to run a Gaming Clans YouTube channel, and I've done live streaming on there. I've done pre-recorded videos on there. YouTube is still, even with their gaming side, it's still geared more towards pre-recorded. All the personalities you see on that are still they like to edit things themselves, rather than focus on the live streaming. Even a lot of big successful YouTubers, they'll still stream somewhere else like Twitch or something like that, and then they put their VODs over, do a quick edit of their VODs and put it over. YouTube, at least in my own experience, it is, I think, the toughest out of all the major platforms to break into, which I think is probably about, like when we were talking about Twitch, I think that's probably a good thing Google didn't end up buying Twitch, because YouTube and YouTube gaming, it's tough. It is a big ocean to swim in, and you can be sitting there streaming every day for months on end, and it's rare to get interaction. I mean, I have a YouTube channel and I'll put stuff up on it, but I honestly don't check it all too often for interaction. Just because, I mean, for one, that's not where most of my viewership comes from, and two, it's tough. It's usually a lot quieter over there until you make it big somewhere else, and then you do a YouTube channel. So my advice, at least for people who are starting off streaming, try to work somewhere else first, get your name up a little bit, and then maybe start focusing on YouTube, but I wouldn't pour too much time into your YouTube channel right now. It's still a great platform for watching videos and stuff, but it's tough.
Yeah, the one caution I would have there for anyone getting into it, and like I said, we're guilty of not really doing it, is I know there are still a lot of brands and sponsorships that if you don't have a YouTube, they're like, oh, you're not serious about this. I think that stigma is kind of going away, but that's how it is.
Yeah. And then let's see, I think probably one of the other biggest competitors right now is Mixer, which originally started off in 2016 as a small little channel called Beam. But what really separated them from the rest of the pack was their FTL technology, which for a long time, up until this point, pretty much every stream at least had a minimum of 30-second delay, if not more. So it was a lot harder for viewer interaction with the streamers. We deal with delay on Facebook, so we all know how it is. But yeah, Beam came along and it was right there, instantaneous. As soon as you do something in the game is the same moment, the same second that the viewers witness it. So it started rising in popularity there because of that. Got the attention of Microsoft, who was looking to get in on the streaming game. And in August 11th, in 2016, Microsoft actually ended up buying Beam and integrating it with their Xbox system. So if you pull up your Xbox now, if you go and buy an Xbox, pull it up, there is a whole tab on the homepage dedicated towards Mixer without even actually having to open up the map. Or if you go into the game store and you're looking at a new game, it'll show you the people who are streaming it right now. So you can get a sense of the gameplay, which I actually personally love. I think that's great. And then in 2017, they rebranded it as Mixer due to some legal issues around the name Beam. But yeah, now it's known as Mixer, and it has a pretty healthy user base. I'd say one of the larger ones out there.
Yeah, just to kind of just to tack onto that, kind of the user base and stuff like that. I think I can't remember if it was Q4 of last year, Q1 of this year. Out of all of the different streaming platforms, they had the highest growth percentage.
It was Q4 last year.
Q4 last year, yeah. So for a while, I think Facebook and Mixer were kind of tied and kind of together as they were both growing as new platforms. Facebook, of course, being younger than Mixer as far as the gaming side of things goes. But as of Q4 last year, it was the fastest growing of all the platforms. Fun facts.
I don't have much experience with Mixer. I've only watched a couple things on there.
Yeah, the Mixer has drove me away. I love the interactive side of Mixer, so like their bits and their sparks and embers and like all the interactive stuff that chat can do with it. But I think their website still has some user issues. Like if you go to their website from the home page, at least as far as I can tell, you can't just search for a streamer or a game. You have to actually go into like the game directory and then you can search games, but I may be wrong. Someone correct me if I am.
You are wrong.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you can search up specific streamers. But yeah, I will agree it's not the most user friendly, especially if you're trying to start up your own stream. I don't think it's as bad if you're solely a viewer. But if you're trying to, like, if you go to make a channel, Mixer it's basically a website made by coders for coders, if that makes sense. Like if you go on Twitch or other websites, they generally have a pretty easy beginner walkthrough on how to set up your channel. how to put in, like Twitch has panels, and it's really easy to put in images and that kind of stuff. As far as editing, like your channel description in Mixer, you've got to know HTML and CSS, which isn't friendly to users at all, especially considering that it's integrated with Xbox. And there are a lot of kids on Mixer because they're streaming from their Xbox to Mixer, and a lot of those kids don't know. They don't know coding. They don't know how to go do that, and it's still. I know CSS and HTML, and it's still a little wonky sometimes, even if you're just trying to get something as simple as an image into your channel. But there's definitely things I like about Mixer. The Sparks is a great way for user interaction. You gain Sparks just by watching streams, and then you can send them back to the streamer, either as you spend them on stickers or animations. Like you can make fireworks pop up all over the screen in chat. And that helps the streamer progress. It doesn't actually pay them out, the streamers out anything, but it helps them progress towards partnership with Mixer.
I'm going to stop you right there. It does actually
Yes.
translate to payouts for them.
Yeah, for partners, they have to reach a certain goal for Sparks. So any Sparks they reach up until that goal isn't anything, but after they reach that goal, it becomes a monetary payout. But
So-
they do
Gotcha.
have to reach that goal within the month.
Yeah, it's not like a one-for-one like bits or something like that is, but
Yeah.
it is like once you hit this milestone of this many Sparks, there's like a set dollar amount tied to it that they get.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah. So
Partners on Mixer. That's the only way to monetize on Mixer.
yeah, and unfortunately, we were talking about a little bit about that earlier. Mixer has a lot of great things for user interaction, but if you are a small streamer, it's still a little bit tougher. Just because there aren't bits or stars or anything like that, or subscriptions, unless you're a partner. Even their version of it, Embers, you still need to be a partner to get paid out on it.
Yeah, they don't really have that mid-tier user-friendly where you can make just a little bit of money on the side and then reinvest it back in. It's out of pocket until you hit that partner status with them, which I think we're going to get
Yeah.
into more later, but leave it
Yep.
at that for now.
And then our last sort of big contender is where our home is. It's Facebook Live, Facebook Gaming,
Yay.
which Facebook Live itself was originally launched in 2015. It's been around for a while, where people could live stream directly from their cell phones. And, it was more of how Justin TV originally started, where it was your day-to-day life. Or I used to see people when they were at a concert, they would live stream from the personal page, stuff like that. Any sort of event, people would do that. And then this last year, in 2018, I want to say March, Facebook started offering out contracts to establish streamers on other websites like YouTube and Twitch and Mixer to convince them to come over to Facebook as they started up their gaming program. So Facebook Gaming is still relatively young compared to the rest of these platforms. This week we've celebrated the 1-year anniversary of Facebook Gaming. I guess, their actual birthday. So it's not that old. It's still got a long ways to go. But I feel like they've been doing a lot of good strides. Last fall, they introduced the Level Up program, which is that mid-tier program that we were talking about for channels that aren't necessarily, like brand spanking new, but aren't quite up to partnership yet. Still allowed them a way to earn a little bit of money for what they're doing, and a little bit better quality for their viewers.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really think I have much to add to that, but I do think it's been interesting watching the platform kind of grow. Um, I think they've done really well in the year that they've been there. They've tried to catch up with where other platforms are, and a lot of people have issues with some of the things they're doing, but like we just said, they're only a year old. But at the same time, I think they have kind of hit some hurdles that they may not have necessarily expected. That anyone who's watching, you may want to keep in mind, like Jay said, it did start as a live streaming from like your phone and that kind of thing, and that's the infrastructure that they've built their gaming system on now. So, for instance, when Facebook Gaming first became a thing, if you wanted your stream to save to a VOD, you couldn't stream for longer than 4 hours. And the whole reason behind that was the way that the system was originally built. It was built for live streaming from your phone, and Facebook was like, when is anyone ever going to stream for more than 4 hours from their phone? Like, your phone's going to die if you're streaming for 4 hours from it. They've since expanded that to now 8 hours, I think is the cutoff currently. So I think they're trying to promote healthy habits of their streamers, and that's why they kind of set that 8-hour cutoff. But there are some things that they've run into as a result of what they're building their platform off of. And I think that's kind of an interesting difference of the platform and things that they've run into that you may not see with other platforms like Mixer and Twitch that are kind of, they were created and built on live streaming games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked a little bit last week, you know, the things we love and the things that we want to see improved on or fixed. So we won't delve too far into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Facebook Gaming, it's a relatively new program. I think everybody here has been enjoying it so far. I know at least I have. And we're excited to see where it's going, and hopefully it's going to be an even bigger contender. Hopefully we can give Twitch a run for their money. That's what I'm hoping for anyways.
I just want people to stop saying, you can stream on Facebook. I would like it to be like, oh, you stream on Facebook. That's awesome.
Yes.
I think
Definitely.
Facebook needs to give out shirts with their little blue G, so I can rep that.
I would be down for that.
I love all the partner pictures because they all have like the official like Facebook Gaming hoodies on. I'm like, those are great. How can I get one of those?
Yeah. Should have one for affiliates as well, or level ups.
So we've talked a little bit about the history of it all. We're going to give a quick rundown about what you need to do to hit affiliate or partner on each of these programs next, just to give you guys kind of an idea. So I guess we'll start with the big kahuna. We'll start with Twitch. Twitch actually has two programs to start earning money. They've got their affiliate program, which is for smaller and mid-sized streamers, and then they've got their partner program. The affiliate program is they've got four main requirements for it. Basically, you have to have at least 50 followers. You have to have streamed for at least 8 hours, and you have to have streamed for seven different days. But probably the most difficult of them is within a 30-day period. You have to have an average at least 3 viewers for your channel, which I know trips some people up. And it may not sound like it's that difficult to do, but it is.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out streaming, you could be barely making, you could have 3 viewers every day for 29 out of 30 days you stream, and then you get 1 day with no viewers, and that's going to drop your average. And yeah, that's their affiliate program, which lets you start earning bits and allows you to start doing earning subscriptions.
Yeah. And just to clarify, the stream for 8 hours and stream on 7 different days is also within 30 days, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything on there is within 30 days.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and then their partner program is a little bit higher. you have to have streamed for at least, this is still once again within 30 days. You have to stream for at least 25 hours. You have to stream on 12 different days. And then the big tough one is you have to have an average of 75 viewers, which is really what cuts people out.
That's the one that gets everybody.
Yep. That's the tough one.
And I have heard that even if you meet all of these requirements in the background, there's always like you have to meet Twitch's it's not terms of service, but like
community
guidelines. There it is. So you can hit all three of those marks, but then if there's something about your channel that Twitch doesn't really like, you may not get the partner also. So something else to keep in mind.
It's true. And I think that applies kind of across all these platforms. Yeah. Once you hit partner, they watch your channel. They might, the platform itself may not watch your channel really as much if you're an affiliate or you have no sort of partnership going on with them. But once you're hit partner, they have actual staff members watching you and seeing how you conduct yourself and watching your growth, your numbers, all those analytics. They're keeping an eye on it because they got to make sure that you're worth their money. Because once you hit partner on Twitch, you actually start earning ad revenue. So they got to make sure you're worth the money they're giving you.
Yeah.
And then the next one is YouTube. They just have a partner program. There's no mid-tier. Basically, breaks down to you got to follow all their rules, all their policies, stay in line with that. And then you have to live in a country where their partner program is available. And you need to have more than 4,000 publicly watched hours in the last 12 months. So all the videos and streams you put up there, people have to have watched it for at least 4,000 hours. You have to have more than 1,000 subscribers for your channel, and then a linked AdSense account, which I won't really go into, but that's how you get paid out on ad revenue. And then once that happens, you start earning money from ads and that sort of stuff. And then Mixer itself has just a partnership program. They don't have any mid-tier either. And their rules listed on their website is that your account has to be at least more than 2 months old. You have to have more than 2,000 followers. You have to stream at least 12 or more days per month. And you have to stream at least 25 hours in that month period. And then that allows you to start earning ad revenue and donations and subscriptions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and just as a note there for anyone kind of looking at these and comparing them, these numbers are very similar to Twitch as far as the number of streams and hours streamed and things like that. The biggest difference is that Mixer does not have the viewership requirement. So their cutoff is you have to have those 2,000 followers, but as long as you have those 2,000 followers, you could theoretically only have like five viewers a stream, though you probably won't if you're hitting those numbers, but just something to keep in mind.
Yes. And then one of you guys want to talk about Facebook? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, you're good.
Facebook Level Up requires 100 followers. You must have streamed 4 hours in a week. You must have streamed. What was the rest of it?
It's 4 hours and 14 days, actually.
Yeah, and at least 2 different days in a 2-week period.
And I think the reason that you may be getting tripped up by that is I think these have actually changed since they first started the program. I think it did used to be a week when it first came out.
Since we hit Level Up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the kind of funky one that's on there is you have to have a gaming video creator page, which all that really means is there's a certain tag you add on your page when you make it on Facebook that labels it as a video creator. But yeah. But I think something that may be useful here, just because this is the one that we know. Oh wait, let me take a couple steps back. Partner on Facebook. there is not published requirements for partner. I chose my words carefully there because I know a couple people who have some information about it, but I am going to choose not to share that because I am not sure the repercussions of sharing the information and the people who gave it to me. So there are kind of things that Facebook is looking for, but as far as publicly letting us know what those things they're looking for are, they haven't. But once you get into that partnership program, you kind of the difference between it and Level Up are becoming fewer. Right now, the biggest thing originally was you could have subscribers. They're slowly beta rolling that out to Level Up, so that's less of a difference than it used to be. Eventually, their plan is to have all Level Up creators have that subscriber button, I believe. They haven't said whether or not there'll be a second number attached with that subscriber button, so I assume it'll be all Level Up. And then you get beta testing for features early. So a few weeks back, they were beta testing low latency streaming. Didn't go the greatest, but they are testing it. And things like that usually go out to partners first, and you'll see a tag on their stream, and they'll be like, hey, we're testing this for Facebook today. Another thing I know they're testing right now is attaching other streamers on Facebook that you're streaming with in your video description. So as opposed to just tagging the person, it'll actually give you physically a link to that person's page. So that's something else that they have in testing right now. But there's also a monetary side attached to Facebook Partner Program, which I think is unique compared to other programs. So I don't know if this is public information necessarily, but it's out there enough that I think almost everyone who's on the platform at this point knows it, that there's actually a dollar amount attached to being a partner. So once Facebook chooses to partner with you, there's a contract you sign, and you are actually getting, I believe, monthly payouts from Facebook in addition to what you're making from subscribers and things like that. She tried to run away. But that's kind of the details of it.
Facebook also has ad breaks available outside of being a partner. That's probably about the one other thing. You don't have to be a partner to start earning revenue off of the ads. It's no small feat to do so. The requirements, you got to have at least 10,000 followers. And in the last 60 days, you need 30,000 one-minute views on videos that are at least 3 minutes long. And then, of course, you got to follow their policies and be in the right country. But that, if you want to start earning ad revenue, that's basically what you got to do. And typically, if you're putting out fun content and you're at that 10,000 follower mark, you should be able to start earning ad revenue.
Yeah, you should be about in there.
So yeah, that's kind of our rundown of all the platforms and the histories of them. Gonna move us on to our next section, where we've got a little bit of gaming news going on this week. I'm gonna preface this with some of this gaming news is a little on the political side. We're not gonna be talking our own political views. We're just gonna state basically what's happening.
Airplane level view without opinions as far as politics.
Yeah, so one of the big ones that's affecting the video game industry right now is the presidency is proposing a tariff on video game consoles, essentially. And Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo have all come together and written letters to Washington, basically trying to argue against that. Which to me, I can understand their point. Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo's argument is essentially that they are selling their consoles at close to at cost as they can. And which is part of the reason why their prices typically stay in the $400 to $500 price range, and a price increase of 25%, which is what's being proposed, will basically put that out of the reach for a lot of American families. who are planning on buying a new console this next year. That's the Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo's argument for that.
Yeah, and I know when they were one of the articles that I was reading that kind of went more into the details about what they were proposing and what they had said is kind of a counter to a potential argument that, like, why don't you manufacture them somewhere else, is that all of these companies have pretty established manufacturing facilities and parts that they couldn't source from other places at this point in time. And the implication of getting changing where those are being manufactured, or even in the extreme case bringing it into the US, is actually going to be more, I believe, than that 25%, or just about the same. So it'll actually hurt the sales even more.
Yeah, it's the tax aside, even if they had to move where they manufactured it, that's a significant cost.
Yeah.
In of itself.
Yeah, they've invested a lot of money in those facilities and investments that are making those consoles at this point.
Well, and even if they wanted to move their manufacturing facilities, say, into the U.S., because I know that's what a lot of people want, a lot of the materials that just go into electronics in general, they can only be sourced from places in Asia. A lot of those rare earth metals can't be found in the U.S., so we have to get them from elsewhere anyways.
Yep.
There's the science for you.
Sorry.
So that's a big thing going on right now. Be prepared to pay a little bit more money for your next generation Xbox or PlayStation if that does go through.
Yeah.
If it goes through.
That's the big,
fingers
that's the big
crossed.
Yeah.
Hopefully for gamers, things will stay cheap.
Yeah.
I don't really see Congress allowing it to go through, because they've been fighting the president on everything else that he's been trying to do. But I don't know. It is money, so we'll see.
And then moving on to the next big sort of video game news that's been going on this week. Bernie Sanders has started his own Twitch channel.
Yes,
and much to the disappointment of many Twitch viewers, he was not playing Apex Legends or Fortnite.
Outrage was cried on his channel.
Lots of outrage.
Yeah. I think this is kind of the reason we brought it up is it's kind of the first major step of politics into the gaming or I won't even call it the gaming space, but kind of those areas that gaming traditionally occupies. Obviously, Twitch is almost exclusively gaming. They have IRL and art and things like that, but to my knowledge, there's never been a political candidate showing things related to their campaign and things like that on Twitch. Go ahead.
It was definitely very unique. I'm not on board for it, quite personally. As a man that doesn't really care too much about politics or pays attention to any debates or anything like that, the last thing I want to do is go on to Twitch, go to look for somebody who's playing a game I want to watch, and then politicians show up on that. We already get enough of that on YouTube. Like, you go on YouTube and the breaking news stuff comes on right now. It's all just the political debates because the election's coming on. I personally don't like politicians going onto Twitch, at least in streaming.
I was honestly surprised this week because, on my phone and my little Google News Center, I don't get normal news on it anymore. It knows that I only like video games, and video game news is news. So that's all I get on my notifications in there. And so I was surprised to see Bernie Sanders' name popped up, and I guess technically it was still video game related. Who knows? Maybe we'll start seeing campaign ads on Twitch. It's up in the air, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I hope personally it doesn't go that far, but I do think there's going to be opinions on both sides. Like Psychocrast said, he's not really for it, but I'm not saying I'm necessarily for campaigning on Twitch, but I think it's extremely smart from the point of the campaign. Just because, especially in the day and age that we're living in, I feel like you have a lot less people that have the traditional ways that political information is distributed. For instance, it used to always be a thing that people like watch the debates on cable, and a large amount of, at least Americans I know, don't have cable anymore. So
I don't have cable, let alone C-SPAN.
yeah, we don't either.
We have no forms of TV. Our internet provides everything.
So
Yep.
I think, as far as I'm a big proponent of making an informed decision, be that whatever you want in politics. Trying not to get into my own views too much, but just I appreciate when people make informed decisions, and I think they're looking for other ways to get that information out to people in as firsthand of a manner as they can. So I know on Twitch today, when I just tuned into one of the rallies for Bernie Sanders, there was 2,000 people watching, and you got some of those people that were like, play video games, and then you got other people that were just like harshing because it was a Democratic candidate, and then there was like some quote productive political conversation back and forth, and I'll just be interested to see what it turns into long term, or if it even ends up being a long term thing.
We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's no investment for them, so I can't say they're going to be like, oh, well, the money's not worth it. Though I guess someone probably is being paid to run all of it, but...
Very true. And then moving on to some of the changes that we've seen in Facebook gaming this week. Facebook and Stream Elements have just announced that they've come out with integrations for alerts and overlays and that kind of stuff. So if you are a fan of Stream Elements, it's good news for you. And then very briefly, we had
very briefly for like 4 days
on our Facebook dashboard as streamers, we had game and title changes, which may sound like a simple, silly thing, but
I was so excited.
It was really exciting to see.
And it was gone yesterday.
Yeah.
So to clarify, right now, as Facebook streamers, we have a certain web page we go to that has our dashboard where it has chat and all of our alerts and basically the quality of our stream listed out and all that info. But if we want to switch games midstream or change the title of the stream, you basically got to go to a whole nother page and edit the video, and it's not simple and quick.
And personally, I struggle and almost always get my own audio playing on stream for like a split second. But
Yes.
that's probably a personal thing.
I do that all the time.
Oh yeah. So we were all really excited to see it, and then it got taken away after like one day. But never fear.
I'm sure it'll be back soon. Ish.
It'll come back. They did this a while back with the rating chaining. It was there for like a day or two, and then it disappeared, and then eventually it came back. So like we've talked about, Facebook streaming is still kind of in this beta early access kind of stage, with only being a year old. So they're going to keep implementing things and then taking them back, fixing it, putting it back. Yeah, it's a process. That's what we've been seeing with Facebook changes this week. And now we're nearing the end of the episode. So I just kind of wanted to ask, what's everybody been
playing this week?
All the Fallout.
Yeah, I've noticed
Justin has
your
a problem.
recent, shall we call it, addiction to Fallout.
I'm level 33 now. I just finished playing 3 hours of a stream before this podcast. And then yesterday I didn't play it, but we did the group play. But the day before that was Fallout, and the day before that was Fallout. I have
Justin,
a problem.
I think we need to talk to you.
I think we need
about
an
your
intervention.
stim packs
No.
and Nuka-Colas.
I can quit anytime I want. All right, I choose to play.
We need to put a cap on your caps.
I'm more worried about Psycho's Psycho.
I've upgraded to Fury.
Okay. It was just a gateway.
It was. Psycho's a gateway.
I know we've, as always, been kind of bouncing around, but
Much less this week.
much less this week. We've been sucked back in by Destiny again, the new season of Opulence is actually really good. So it's been dragging us in, and honestly, unless we're playing it multiple nights a week, I feel like we are like getting behind. So we're kind of like, we need to play because we need the power, and then it used to be you hop on for one night and you could knock it all out, but now it's like you have to play 2 or 3 nights to get it all. So
yeah.
But we've been playing that for the most part, and then sprinkling other stuff in there like we always do. What did we play this week?
Yeah, we only had 2 non-Destiny streams this week. I figured that out yesterday. So we finished Wolfenstein, and we played a little bit of Fallout with Justin.
Mm-hmm. I was a good bodyguard.
We're trying.
Have you guys played?
He's a bad
Wolfenstein?
bodyguard.
No, so we've never played. I've played. So long story short, I'm sorry, they're doing construction above us. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Long story short, I have played like 1 or 2 levels of Wolfenstein because when it first came out, I had a friend who was playing through on the hardest difficulty possible, and he just got to this one level that he could not beat. And I am notorious for being ridiculously persistent at whatever I do, to the point like the more it defeats me, the more I want to beat it. Rayman Legends was my worst and best game ever because of this, but so I played a couple of levels playing through it with him, and it took me like 2 hours to get through like this one room. It was really awful, and I stayed away from it after that actually because of how irritated I was after playing that level. But with Youngblood coming out and the fact that it's actually going to be a co-op experience, so Tater and I can play it together.
Yeah.
We're trying to go back and do a franchise playthrough. So I've actually had Wolfenstein sitting in my Steam library for like probably a couple years now and never actually even downloaded it. And then Game Pass has the second one. So we just finished the first one this week. Probably going to go ahead and start up the second one as soon as I can figure out how to get past the ridiculous racial slurs in the beginning of it, because I'm not sure I want to stream that part, but we'll figure that out.
They are good games. I still need to beat the second one. I think I was like 80% of the way through, but they are really good. I'm totally the opposite of you, man. I get frustrated with those games. I play them on easy. I just enjoy the story and the world. Like I put it on easy, and I still struggle.
Yeah, I think with Wolfenstein, after giving myself long enough to forget that level, I ended up finishing it in 2 streams, which usually, for anyone who knows us, we stream like 3-ish hours has become our average. It used to be 2. We've kind of extended it. And I think those streams were both like 4.5 hours. And the first one, Tater came up to me and she put her hand on my shoulder and she's like, "We need to go to sleep now."
It's like midnight. It's time
she's
for
like,
bed.
"That's enough Nazi killing for now. You can play it again later." I was like, okay.
Oh, it feels so good. The story's so good. The characters, the villains.
It is really good. I suggest it for anyone who's not checked it out.
Yes. As long as blood and gore doesn't bother you.
Yeah. It's not quite Doom level, but it's definitely gory.
It's not far off.
It's not, no.
It's very different. Did it shock your Stardew Valley viewers?
We actually had people who loved it a lot, so apparently there's like this gory, sadistic side of our Stardew Valley viewers, but you know.
Oh, no.
They were like, "This is great."
I love the gore.
I mean, this week it's Overwatch as usual for me. Play that a lot all the time. But I did switch it up a little bit, I think, on Wednesday. I went and I played some Hunt Showdown, which I hadn't touched really since it first entered early access. I played it a lot during the technical alpha, probably put a couple 100 hours in.
Oh, wow.
And then not as much once it hit early access. But it was cool to go back and see a lot of the changes in that. It's such a gorgeous game, guys. So gorgeous. I mean, it's from Crytek. If anybody's played Crysis, you know their games are, regardless if you like the gameplay or not, they're gorgeous games. And then later that day, I played a little bit of Ring Elysium, which was another game that I hadn't really played since it first hit early access. And that game changed a lot too. It was good changes, at least from what I could tell.
Yeah, it's. I was interested to see you play The Hunt because that wasn't something I'd ever seen you play before, but now I know why.
It's a good game. It's a scary game. I really want to watch Tater play it.
Hey now,
Um,
hey now.
If none of you guys know what it is, it's basically set in the 1800s, and you're hunting down these supernatural creatures. You're dropped in an arena in teams of 2, and so you're hunting down the supernatural creature while other teams try to do the same, but you're also trying to kill each other. And then once you kill the creature, you've got to escape with its bounty. And it's got a permadeath system in it, so if you die in it, all the character that you've been leveling up is gone,
Oh no.
and all the weapons and gear that he's carrying with it.
That's brutal.
Oh no. Oh no.
But it's beautiful, and it's in like this Louisiana bayou type setting. Like you walk in the water, all of a sudden these eels with like millions of tentacles start slicing you up. It's scary.
No.
Good.
It's a very
Lots of
fun
different
game.
types of enemies. It's a gorgeous game.
I've got like 120 hours into that game.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, I played a lot of it.
sounds like we got to play it at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we're at the hour now, and that's kind of what we've been doing. That's what's been going on with Facebook gaming, and hopefully that enlightens some of you on sort of a quick history on video game streaming. But I think we're going to call it, unless anybody else has something to add.
No, I think just.
There's going to be more Fallout this week.
I was just going to say real quick, for anyone who's listening, I do think in the next week or 2, you can probably expect that we will get a guest on here to get another opinion in, get some talking going. We have a couple of people in mind, and hopefully, if not next week, the following week, we'll be able to get that lined up and have another opinion in here for you guys to kind of hear and get some new exposure to. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, our plan is eventually to try and pull on a different guest each week, so that we can sort of shake it up a little bit. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own opinions, so we want to try and pull some of those opinions in.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can start doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Psychos Crash, where can we find you?
You can find me over on facebook.com/PsychosCrest, where I stream almost nightly. And then you can also find me on Instagram. I'm the PsychosCrest, and Twitter under the PsychosCrest.
Tater and Smitch.
We are Tater and Smitch. We are on Facebook Gaming, so fb.gg/Tater and Smitch. We are also on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. We don't stream there, but that's what our name is
Mixer.
when we are viewing, and also Mixer.
All Tater
Awesome,
and Smitch, all places.
Everywhere.
And caffeine. I like to throw that one in there because I forget I have an account over there.
And I'm the Mock and Jace TV, and you can find me on literally every platform except for Snapchat, because I don't understand how it works. But yeah, and then if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, if you have any ideas for new topics you want us to talk more about, please send us a message, leave a comment on any of our videos or postings. You can also send us an email at justfaceitpodcast@gmail.com. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
We hope you guys all have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.